for details.
There's a new food show sheriff in town, Podna. Trey's Chow Podcast Live will feature celebrity chefs and pitmasters with celebrity mixologists with creative cocktail menus from distilleries statewide. We'll have farmers, ranchers, wildlife experts, fishermen, and more, all for the culinary world and the foodies. Live from the Spoony Studios on the iHeartRadio platform, Trey's Chow Podcast Live.
Here you are. Here you go. Hey, Trey.
Hey, everybody. This is great, man. We've never had technical problems before. This is something else, man. We're going to be slapping the mic back and forth. Hey, everybody. We're here for another Friday show at Trey's Chow Down Live, where we talk about food, drink, music, and fun. And today in studio, I got Brandon Ryder with me. Brandon.
Here we are. How you doing? It's good. It's good to be here. And, you know, that's the beauty of what we get to do. There's always this possibility that it's not going to work like it did yesterday or a few minutes ago. So he wants you to talk on that microphone again and see if we've got anything.
Hello, testing.
No, still don't have anything. So you're right. We're going to spend this hour, it looks like, going back and forth.
We were just talking about sharing a microphone.
Again, they keep pointing at us in here like it's going to work or something. I don't know. But, hey, man, I'm happy to be on Trey's Chow Down. And, man, you're all over the place. And that's fun to been fun to watch. I've followed you for several years, watching you do your thing, and you're just always bouncing around. So tell me about it.
I do bounce around a lot. You know what's funny? That's fun. This is going to be a great show. That's fun. Now, what's funny is that people, we were talking about this a while ago, people think it's easy. All they see is me eating and drinking. Oh, it's easy. They don't understand how hard it is. Kind of like what you do. Yeah. Kind of like what you do. I want you to tell everybody real quick, so just so in case they don't know you, haven't met you, kind of how you got started and where you're from.
Yeah.
Well, my name is Brandon Ryder, and I've been doing this. I started chasing this crazy dream many, many years ago when I was but a lad in my 20s. And so, you know, I started out this Texas music idea. I didn't really know what Texas music was back in the 90s, but I was introduced to Robert Earl Keen in Tyler when I lived there. I went to school over at UT Tyler. And I had a job there, and my boss said, "Hey, man, you should come to the Square tonight, and you should. We got this guy. Hey, is it working?
Testing.
Nothing. So I went to see Robert Earl Keen, and I thought, man, this is like a whole different musical genre. And then I was introduced to Pat Green not too long after that. And you know, we had been listening to, you know, growing up. I grew up in country music. I grew up listening to country music. And so, you know, Willie and Waylon and Merle and Chris and all the guys, you know, that was pretty standard around our place. So, you know, I never really thought about doing anything like this. I didn't even pick up the guitar until I was close to the end of college. And the only reason I did that was because I saw two of my buddies playing at a keg party, and I thought, well, you know what, Dad's got he's got an acoustic, and I thought I'd try it, and so I did, and I quickly started writing songs, and I'm not saying that they were good by any stretch, but I started writing some songs, and there was this one gentleman who turned out to be one of my best friends in the world. He built the first house my wife and I ever bought there south of Tyler on Lake Palestine. His name was Ricky Casey. And we got something now?
Let's see.
Don't know yet?
I can hear them.
We're good.
Too.
Good. So
testing. Can you hear me? Are we good to go? Okay.
So
we made it work. See,
we did. You know, we would play songs around the campfire and stuff like that. And my buddy Ricky pulled me to the side one night, and he said, "Hey, man," he said, "You're different than the rest of us. We do this for fun, and you've got some talent that we don't have, and you know what? Maybe you should think about pursuing this," which was the first time that I ever really thought, okay, maybe. And green as I wasn't about to try to fly to Nashville and do anything there. I thought Austin, Texas is the place for me. And, and
It still is the place.
We actually, had just built a new house. We had both finished college. We had helped put each other through college, my wife and I. Our roots were in East Texas. That's where we're from. But I came home and I said, I want to chase this crazy dream. I want to go to Austin. I want to try to play music. And she said, okay. And she thought I was kidding, but she came home on Monday and there was a for sale sign in the yard 3 months later.
You got to respect that she let you do that. Come on now. That's pretty cool, Brandon.
Oh, I agree.
That's awesome.
100%.
Yeah.
But she didn't know exactly, again, we were both young.
Yeah.
And we lived in the time where, we helped put each other through college.
Right.
So we didn't have a lot of debt or anything. And my whole deal to her and to myself was, man, if there's ever a chance to do something, right now is the time to go try it. So we did. And, the rest is kind of history.
Yeah, sure did.
Yeah.
So you moved to Austin.
Yeah.
And then you start off. What was your let me ask you, what was your first big thing that you liked about the business? What was the aha moment for you? You said, "Oh, I'm really going to enjoy this."
Well, the first couple of years that I was in Austin, that's really what I did, was just kind of try to meld into the scene and see what was going on. And I went out every single night. It was the same routine. I'd get up, go to work in the morning, come home in the evenings, cook dinner, tell Kelly goodbye, and I'd head downtown or to, whether it was an open mic or there was a band playing, back then in the early 2000s, there was a lot more going on in Austin.
We talked about this,
music-wise. It sure seemed like, as far as the scene. So, that was kind of the point where I wanted to get into the scene, and I really didn't feel like I even started anything until 2001 when I came out with my very first CD.
I think you said, Austin, I think now what's happened is the scene is still there, but there's so many little cities and so many places doing it now that it's spread out over a bigger, massive area. Well, as far as, Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, Round Rock, people playing everywhere now.
I really believe Fort Worth has kind of become the Texas or red dirt capital. There's a lot of artists here now. There's a lot of bands that call Fort Worth, this area, home. And so, I think it has shifted somewhat. But again, I left the city. I live in the country now.
Yeah, I know you do.
I try not to go downtown very often.
I know. I'm not going to tell you worry about it, but you're about 2 hours from Fort Worth, right? No, hour and a half.
Well, about 2 hours. A little over 2 hours.
Yeah, you live in a great community, though.
Yeah.
Village.
Yes, village.
Village.
I live west of the village.
That's right. Well, okay, you said, and I'm listening as you talk. You said that you would come home, cook dinner, and then go. So you would cook every night.
Yes.
So that's what I'm getting at.
Yes. Yes.
So what did you cook?
Man,
because you were raised on a farm, or farm or ranch, or out of the city.
Well, I call it a farm. We grew up. All of my family lived around each other, and we all had some land, and we all had big gardens. My family couldn't see us from where we were at. We were around the corner at a dead end road. I wrote a song about that.
Yeah, you did write a song about that. I've heard it. Yeah.
But we all lived in the area, and we all raised big gardens.
Right.
And we all shared with each other. And my grandfather was the one who mostly had, farm animals. He had chickens and goats and pigs and cows.
Fresh eggs.
Oh yeah.
I love fresh eggs. My dad's got it. My dad spent all this money building this chicken house.
Yeah.
A few years ago. I had it built. It's a cedar, big chicken house. It's like we call it the chicken hotel. We call it Barney's Chicken Hotel because he loves fresh eggs.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's one of my favorite thing in the world is fresh eggs. And you asked what I started cooking. Like in those early days. My mom used to say that she could make ground meat 100 different ways.
Yeah.
That was when you don't have a whole lot of money. Ground meat was a staple that we could get pretty cheap, and she was able to do a lot of things with it. But when I left home, I had followed in their footsteps through the kitchen. My grandmother's, my mother, none of the men in my family were really big cooks or anything like that. They'd like to do stuff out on the pit. My papa was good at that. I really enjoyed that. But for the most part, it was the ladies, and I didn't think I really learned anything from them. But over the years, I realized that I certainly did.
Yeah.
And a lot of it started out, in the early days. I guess once I left home, trying to figure out what I was doing, where I was going, what I was cooking, it was kind of all over the place, the way it still is today. I just have met a lot more people in the food world.
Right.
And I have a lot more friends that are chefs.
Right.
And so they have given me a wealth of knowledge. And I always tell everybody I'm just dangerous enough in the kitchen that if I don't know what I'm doing, I can pick up the phone and phone a friend.
That's right.
And figure it out.
That's right. Phone a friend. Remember that show? Whatever that show was. Phone a friend. Yeah. So what's your favorite? What's your favorite thing to cook when you're home? You like outside or inside or what?
Honestly, I'm more of a seasonal type of guy. I mean, I love cooking inside as much as I do outside. Don't get me wrong. I love getting that pit rolling, and I love to, work out in the yard and smell that pit rolling. But I mean, if you had to ask me, put me on the spot, like what is my favorite meal to cook, I would have to go with lamb. I love lamb chops. I love
they're awesome.
Lamb chops, and I love to cook them, and my kids love them. So we have this deal where at least once every 2 weeks we have a night of lamb chops.
That's neat.
Yeah, it's something that's real easy. It's simple, and depending upon how you like to prepare foods, what I've always liked about, whether it be beef or lamb, the thing I like about lamb that's different is I do like the flavor of it. I do like the bold flavor. I like bold flavors, and so that's something that really sticks out to me, and I've tried cooking lamb every single way in the world that you can. I love roasting it. I love grilling it. I love putting it on the smoker. I mean, it's just something that's really great to me. And then, obviously growing up on beef. Beef,
Texas is all beef.
For dinner. Yeah,
that's what's for dinner. Yeah, that's
right.
Still one of the best slogans in the world, right there.
That's right.
So do you still cook a lot?
I cook every day. I mean, I cook most every meal that we eat. It's a hard thing to try to balance on the road,
It is.
But at the same time, I always try to leave enough things behind. My wife is a good cook. Okay. So, she doesn't like to do it though.
Yeah.
And that's the key, she doesn't enjoy it. And to me, it's another hobby. It's another blank canvas. It's like writing a song. When you start out writing a song, you've got a piece of paper and a pen and you start from scratch. Well, that's what I love about cooking. Whether it be in the kitchen or out on the pit, it's a lot different from baking. Baking's a lot more, finite deal that you have to go through. But cooking is like you can do anything that you want to do, and you can make anything the way that you want to make it. So, man, you come to my house, you're going to get plenty of meat and taters. You're going to get plenty of garlic.
I love garlic. we talked about that last when I saw you at Justin Frischel's show a while back. Days run together now. It's probably a year ago, but it just seems like it. It just seemed. So when you who's your favorite chef? I know you have a lot of chef friends. Who's your favorite chef? Is it down there in Austin or is it here? Or?
Oh man, you're gonna I got so many chef friends. If they hear this, I'm gonna piss them off or something. Man. Honestly,
how about not favorite chef? How about chefs you like to go visit? How about that?
Oh man, I mean, I love to see Grady Spears up here.
Yeah.
And Grady and I have known each other for a long time. I love to go over to Tim's place and eat. Tim Love, and we Twitter back and forth from time to time. And then, we've done some stuff in Austin. I've done several different shows over the years. I've done several things that, like you were talking about earlier off the air, with Fox and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Rory Shapezi, she's up in Amarillo. I used to do the show with her up there every time we played Amarillo.
Oh, that's awesome.
And gosh, I mean, there are just so many great chefs out there, and who have so many different approaches.
There are chefs become rock stars. Food is rock stars, and chefs become celebrities now, and so they're everywhere. I mean, I can't even meet them all. I mean, they're just all over the place. They talk about this celebrity chef, and I'm like, I've never heard of him.
Sure,
it's there's just so many of them, and they're all Dallas-Fort Worth has now become one of the largest food markets in the United States. And possibly in the world, but in the United States, they did a survey, and Texas beat out California this year in food and stuff. So it's phenomenal. Well, everybody's leaving there anyway, I think, because everybody wants to be in Texas. No offense, anybody, probably get hate mail, but that's just the way it works.
Yeah. Well.
So let's talk about. So you started. What was your first song that you ever wrote?
Well, I probably don't even remember that. Yeah, really, the first song that I had that first record that came out in 2001. It was called Because She Loves Me. And there's a song on there, Have I Waited Too Long, that we redid through the years and remade it, so to speak. And it's completely different, but that was definitely one of the very first songs that I wrote. I'll tell you a quick story about how I wrote it.
You know, I like stories.
Yeah, I was we lived in Tyler,
right.
and we had just both graduated, and I worked late that night, and I was on my way home, and back then on our radios, you remember that seek button?
Yes.
You hit that seek button.
Right.
It would stay like on a station like 3 seconds and then skip to
the next station, yeah.
So I had it on seek trying to find something on the way home. We lived on Lake Palestine, so it was a 25-minute drive, and it hit the station, and the voice on the other end said, "Would there be anything that you would like to say to her? If you could talk to her now, what would you say?" And he said, "If I changed my life, would she come back, or have I waited too long?" And I went, bam, that's a hook right there.
That's the hook.
That's the hook. And so I literally turned the light on and wrote that on my steering wheel.
That's awesome.
Yeah, on the way home. And so to have a song like that is still part of our repertoire,
Sure.
and still a song that we play occasionally in shows, definitely do it at acoustic shows. It's pretty fun, but you know, a lot of those early days, it's just a lot about learning. I was green as green could be, as we mostly are when we try to do something like that, and not knowing really anything about the music business. There was a big learning curve, but gosh, those days were innocent.
They were.
Yeah.
We talked about earlier how times have changed, especially in the last 7-8 years. So how long did it take you to write that song when you got home? Did you start writing that now when you got home?
Oh, no, I wrote it on the way home.
Oh, did you?
Don't tell the DPS that. But, yes, I wrote that on the way home on my steering wheel. And, you know, the funny thing about songs and about songwriting is, you know, a lot of people don't understand that a lot of times the best songs do happen quickly.
Yes.
They somehow find their way through you to paper, and you sit back and you look at it and you're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things. It really is. And the way I like to explain that is when inspiration takes over.
Sure.
When the inspiration takes over, that gives you the opportunity to really allow it to flow through your body and out on to paper, or your computer these days, or your iPhone, or whatever you're doing. But that's really that's the connection.
Also, too, it's because you had passion. You had passion for what you were doing.
Absolutely, and without passion, we can't be great at anything.
I know, and that's why I tell people that's like these great chefs. You know, why is it? Because he's got a lot of passion. He cares about every single thing he does. There's cooks, and, you know, to me, a cook is a guy who works in the kitchen, and there's chefs, guys who are passionate about it and take it to the next level. Just like, you know, there's guys that just want to play in a band, but there's guys that are passionate and want to work hard, get on the road, travel, and make it happen.
Yeah,
you know?
There's you got to be careful too with that and the approach. I was reading Merle Haggard's autobiography not too long ago, and there's a line in there that really hit me, and it said it's not a matter of if you get burned out on the road, it's when you get burned out on the road. And you know, we really hit about 2006. This record Conviction came out, and it had songs on it like Freeze Frame Time, Let the Good Times Roll, Back Roads, Mr. Soldier.
Yep.
I mean, that whole record was a rock star for us. It put us on the map, but from that moment forward, I mean, we went so fast, and we were touring, you know, 175 plus states a year. And you're out there, and you're, you know, at the same time, I'm starting a family back home. And,
that's
grind,
wear on you.
It's a grind.
Yeah.
It was a grind. And, you know, this is kind of part of my story today. If you asked me 2 or 3 months ago, I wouldn't be able to tell you this, but for the last several years, have struggled. I struggled with my voice. My voice wasn't hitting a lot of the notes that I used to be able to hit. I felt that, you know, when I would get off the road, sometimes I call them decompression days,
right?
Where when you get home and you just don't want to talk to anybody or see anything, you just, you know, well, those started taking longer. You know, it started taking me a couple days to get over instead of just one day. And, you know, a lot of it I thought was in my body, it's my fault, you know, I'm not getting enough rest. I'm drinking too much. You know, we're staying up all night. We're, you know, on the road constantly.
Sure.
And I kind of approached it from that way. Well, a few years back, I tried to go see some doctors, ear, nose, and throat doctors, stomach doctors, stuff trying to figure out. And I just kept getting the can kicked down the road, saying, take this pill, do this.
Take this pill. Yeah.
Right. You're going to be better.
Yeah.
Get more rest, drink less, drink more water.
Exercise, whatever.
Exercise. And, I did a lot of those things. In the last 5 or 6 years, I cut out a lot of habits that I had that were not healthy habits.
Sure.
Nicotine.
We all have them.
Nicotine was probably the hardest thing I've ever stopped in my entire life.
I bet it was.
I mean, there's a reason that nicotine's like third on the list of like drugs that are like, right behind crack and like, seriously.
And women.
Right? Yeah. So, I mean, I just kept kind of pressing. I finally found, let's fast forward to now.
Okay.
January, I found a new doctor down in the Austin area who introduced me to a group of doctors, and they understood what I was saying.
Sure.
And they said, we're going to attack this. And we have from multiple angles. This all ties into food because I had a huge test, Vibrant Wellness testing done, where they test you for all your food allergies.
Right.
I found out that I'm completely lactose intolerant.
Oh, wow. That's important.
The charts.
That's important.
Yeah.
That's a huge deal.
And then I have other tendencies throughout with some other products. But what we did was we completely adjusted my diet. Obviously, I'm not eating dairy anymore. I'm trying to stay as gluten-free. I've lost 20 pounds in the last 2 or 3 months. And it really is, the kicker is that I'm singing notes that I haven't sang in over a half dozen years. What they
and
did
the whole time you thought it was you.
I thought it was my voice too.
Something you were doing. Yeah.
Yes, I thought it was because I kept getting told, "You're okay. Your voice. And what they weren't saying was that everything around my vocal cords was inflamed. Yes, my vocal cords looked good. There were no polyps or anything like that. But from the top, with all of the drainage and inflammation, sinus, which I do have a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And then also the rest of your body, not understanding that what you put in your body just doesn't affect your stomach or maybe how you go, but it affects your entire body.
Yes, it does.
And so,
very much so. That's why I preach fresh food all the time because fresh. People want to eat this prepackaged crap, and that's not. You don't know what's in it. And you can read, but you still don't know what's in it because all the stuff's hidden in that mumbo jumbo and those big words.
Yes,
it needs to be fresh. I mean, it's a huge deal.
Yeah. Well, that was a huge thing when I was a kid and I moved out of the house. The first few years, and you find things, junk food and stuff like that, fast food places. I haven't eaten at those places since like 1994.
Right.
Okay. I don't do fast food.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But when I first got out of the house, I did. And when I really started getting back into food, the first thing I realized was everything that I grew up on was the best.
Yeah.
Because we got it out of the garden.
Right.
And it was all fresh.
Right.
And then thinking about the meats, the meats that were processed, we had processed and we hunted and we put deer and fish and all those things in the freezer. And so that's really when I started getting back into food, what drew me back to eating cleaner, being cleaner as far as our diet, working with our farmers markets that we have. And there's so many great farmers markets.
So many.
And they don't just have what we grew up on at the farmers markets, not just eggs and vegetables.
They have all kinds of stuff.
They have anything.
They have honey. They've got all kinds of stuff they make. They've got sauces, everything. And a lot of these people, they've got cheese dips. They've got butter. And they're all these little small people that make it.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yes. And I mean, everything from goat cheese to right across the board.
I love goat cheese. You like goat cheese?
Yeah, I do. And unfortunately, it's one of those, it doesn't like me. Lactose, it doesn't agree with me.
You can't eat cheese anymore, any of that stuff.
You know what? It's made me completely adjust my lifestyle, so to speak. But what I say that it did was it made me go back and I'm eating like my great-grandparents did.
Yeah.
We're eating fresh.
That's right.
Fresh vegetables, fresh fruits.
That's right.
We're eating, lean proteins and, trying to spread that out over the board where we're not having red meat every night because I would if I could.
That's right.
So it's really, instead of like making me
hold that thought. We're going to go to break for a minute. We're going to go to break because we got to pay some bills. We like paying bills around here. Listen to this. We'll be back in about 3 minutes and 3 seconds. Thank y'all.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252.
It looks like you're losing.
I am.
Are you losing weight?
I am losing. I've lost about 10 pounds.
How are you doing it?
Funny name, but I've done it with Riduzone. RADUzone.com, and the stuff works. It's, you get into all that, the molecule this and the found in that. All I can tell you is it makes you feel full, and it keeps your mind off of wanting to overeat.
And also boosts your metabolism,
Yes,
so you're
it does.
burning more.
Yeah, it does.
Try it today. It's going to work for you like it's worked for Brad and countless other people. Riduzone.com. RIDUzone.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
Here we are, back for another day, another 30 seconds, another day. Friday with Brandon Ryder. Brandon, what's going on, man? Okay. Now that we got past our little bill paying stint there.
Yes, sir.
Let's pick it back up. So you found out you were lactose intolerant, and then you had to change your diet and stuff. So then you came from, what'd you do from there?
Well, we're going to have to back up just a year
Let's back
before
up
we
a
get
year.
back into this.
Right.
Last year in March, every spring break, my family and I go up to Northeast Texas. We have a family friend that has a farm up there, a 500-acre pine tree farm. We go and take over and fish and ride UTVs and cook out and just have fun as a family for a week. We were up there just like every year. We go up there, and I woke up. It was next to the last day, and I was sick as could be. I mean, like, my fever was off the charts, and my body was locked up. I could hardly move. My wife said, we're going to the emergency clinic. I said, yes, let's go. Got there. They admitted me to the hospital. I was septic.
Oh, wow.
My fever was like 104, and I became
When you say
the mystery.
septic, you had a lot of trash. You had a lot of trash right in your.
I was sepsis. It had sepsis. So
Okay.
basically, what your white blood cells come to the attack if you're under attack, your body, and your levels are supposed to be around the 10,000 range. These were like 16. I mean, it was off the charts, and so that's a very dangerous situation because people die from that. If they don't go, get help, and so I became the patient that was the mystery patient, is what they called me. And towards
mystery patient.
Yeah, because we couldn't. I had every test known to man. I'm telling you, CAT scans. We even had a nuclear bone test where they put that stuff in you to see where the infection is, and I was in there for a week. And what I got finally told was that I had Lyme disease.
Jesus.
Well, afterwards I get out, I'm retested, and I don't have Lyme disease. So the 2 times after that, we didn't, it didn't come up. And so we're grasping for straws, trying to figure out what's going on with my body and keep pushing forward, and I wanted to get back to January to where I met Dr. Tomas down in Austin. He told me, and I, you get yourself in a hole. That's what I was talking about. When you go out and you tour constantly, and you don't take care of your body, and you're not eating the right things, and your body changes over time.
Sleep, drinking, smoking,
and all the stuff you used to like to eat. All of a sudden, your body says, "Nuh-uh, we're not having that."
Yeah.
That happened at the 40 mark when I hit 40. Right?
Yeah. Well, what happens? Our bodies are like cars, right? They're like engines. They're like an engine. You can't just keep putting trash in, expect the thing to keep running.
Yeah.
You got to take care of it.
So Dr. Tamaz, really took this bull by the horns and really worked to get me physically inside fit, working with other doctors. Dr. Chavez is another one. Such a huge part, though, because I'll tell you the reality. Yeah, it sucks that I can't have dairy anymore at all.
Right.
But the reality is that it's poison to my body.
To your body, yeah.
And when you feel like I felt for all those years, not knowing that you were self-poisoning yourself,
You're killing yourself.
You're killing yourself.
Yeah.
Then when you get out on the flip side of it, I haven't felt this good in half a dozen years.
Isn't that
Trey.
crazy? Isn't that crazy?
So I'm
You look good
pumped.
too. You come in here bouncing around and laughing.
Yeah. And I mean, it is. I truly owe it to them for getting me back on track. And, life is full of changes. We'll continue to go down this path. And you know what it's done for me food-wise? It's opened up a complete different chapter.
Right.
Because you have to be creative, come up with new sauces to put on things, like either a chimichurri sauce or a romesco.
I love
or
chimichurri.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So I don't think I don't look at it in a negative way. I think it's very positive.
You make your chimichurri?
I have, yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
You like garlic though, so
garlic is like, you don't have to worry about any vampires around our place.
I know, man. Garlic's kind of like a drug to me. I love garlic. Well, I just absolutely love it. I put it on everything.
I do too.
Copious amounts.
Yes. Yes. I'm glad we can't smell each other's breath right now.
Yeah.
Right?
No kisses today, Brandon.
But growing up in East Texas and growing up in a farming type area, think about all the things that we got out of the garden. There was onions, there was garlic, there was, cucumbers, watermelons. I mean, one of the favorite things we did as a kid was go out in the field with my grandfather, say, go pick y'all a watermelon. Go out there and cut it right in the middle of the field and eat it.
My dad, 4 years ago, had a guy. I came into the ranch and we had an arena, that they use for just, we ride horses, warm up horses, whatever. They used it for cutting for a long time ago. We don't do that anymore. And I came in, there was a tractor in the arena, and the guy was tilling it up. And I'm like, what is this guy doing? I stopped, I looked, and I thought, man, he's really digging that arena up a little bit. And then my dad comes out and goes, Dad, what are you doing? So I'm making the arena a garden. I said, what? He said, we're not going to have a horse arena anymore. We're going to make it a garden.
There you go.
So he made a garden. And the reason why is because he didn't want anything getting in there. He didn't want a cow or a horse or a goat or a rabbit or a coyote, whatever, getting in there, because the arena was completely closed off.
Right.
And it's still there now. Something almost 5 years. And he grows, it's huge. And he grows the biggest. He grows corn, pumpkins, watermelons, tomatoes, 5 different kinds of peppers. So every year I have all these bushels of stuff. Sometimes I'll take them to chefs and give them bushels of fresh, vegetable stuff. It's cool.
You're going to have to invite me back when he's, when all this stuff starts coming in.
It's such a huge difference. And people give me crap all the time now. But how come you don't do like other, when I'm doing reviews on restaurants, they talk about, other chains besides like fresh stuff. And I said, because that's not what I want to do. When I say it's farm fresh, like I do a lot of hamburger deals now. And a lot of these hamburger joints, they make their dressings fresh. They get fresh bread. They grind their own meat. It's just the last 10 years, a whole society's changed as far as being farm fresh stuff. And even the bigger restaurants that have 2 or 3 restaurants, still farm fresh deliveries every day, sometimes twice a day. It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. And as chefs have gravitated more that way for not just health reasons, but because of how great it is.
Right.
I mean, there's so many great chefs out there that a lot of times I'll ask them what in the world it is on the plate, because I'm not really sure. They make it look so great.
So great. Yeah, the plating is a huge issue now.
Oh, my gosh. There's no doubt about it.
There's people that can plate, and there's people that they don't want to or they can't. And it's just, the plating is, you eat with your eyes first, period.
Sure.
You eat with your eyes, then you smell it, and then you taste it. That's the 3 things. That's how you eat. And the eyes are a big portion of that. Mm-hmm. Even when we had our restaurants, I was always like, if it doesn't look good, it's not going to taste good. And that's still today. If you get something that looks terrible, it's in your mind before you even taste it. It's like, oh man, is it going to be any good?
Yeah.
Preconceived notions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, living in the hill country, I can't have a big garden.
Yeah.
You know, I have it fenced off because the deer are, you know, they mow anything and everything down. If anybody ever tells you a certain plant is deer proof, or it's not,
they're lying.
Those deer get hungry enough, they'll eat it.
Or they don't know.
Yeah. So I have a little garden. You know, I have like 4 different types of tomatoes.
That's awesome.
I've got 4 different peppers going. I've got all the herbs you could ever think of, because that's such a, you know, that's another important part of my diet now.
Yeah.
All these different herbs that you can bring into the picture when you're creating all these fresh sauces.
What kind of peppers do you grow?
Okay, so I've got like you got to have jalapenos. You know.
Yeah.
I got a jalapeno peppers. I've got some bell peppers. I've got a spicy bell pepper. I've got what they call a lunchbox pepper. It's a sweeter pepper, which I love growing those sweeter varieties as well,
For
because
flavor.
they go so great in your food. You know, the other night we had some Italian sausage, and take all of those fresh ingredients, you know, oregano, thyme, basil, parsley, and put those into a dish with that and some zucchini noodles.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Bam.
it's easy, right?
Yeah.
Right? So
I had some zucchini noodles the other day. There's a new restaurant in Dallas called Bella Green, and they have a zucchini noodle dish. And it's an Italian dish, but it says zucchini noodles, and you don't know, but they were absolutely fantastic.
Well, it's a good thing that they're fantastic, because I don't want to offend anybody, but I've tried some of this vegan stuff, some of these vegan noodles and stuff like that, and I just can't stomach it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I would rather, you know, spiralize, you know, that vegetable than go out there and buy something that's, I don't know what, I just can't eat it.
And you know, that's as Americans, what makes it great, because everybody's got different flavors.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it too is like, you know, what I miss in some of the foods that I'm not able to eat anymore is like crunch.
Do you miss those?
Yeah, I miss some of that food.
Do you ever have a craving for them, or you just miss them?
No, the other night I made my kids mac and cheese, and I'm not gonna lie to you, man. That was like everything I could do not to put that spoon in my mouth.
Mac and cheese has made a big comeback. It is so huge now.
I know.
Everybody's got their own deal. Mac and cheese. Joe Risky's Barbecue's got a Pitmaster mac and cheese. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I literally could eat 15 pounds. I'd be sick, but I could do it.
You want to know something else that I miss?
What?
Mashed potatoes.
Oh, I bet. Oh yeah, I bet you do.
Mashed potatoes.
That's a part of the food group, man. Mashed potatoes or baked potatoes.
Well, that's how we grew up, meat and taters.
Yeah.
But you find different ways to.
What do you replace it with?
Well, I mean, like what I've done a couple of times is, you know, like instead they'll have mashed potatoes, and I'll take a new potato, a red potato, and boil it, and then when it just gets, you know, where it's soft enough, I'll just mash it out and put salt and pepper on it.
Yeah.
I love the earthy taste of those new potatoes, red potatoes. But
those are very good.
Also, you can take like maybe a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, maybe a little bit of vinegar. Choose your vinegar. That's another thing that's so important, is all the different vinegars.
Yes.
Yeah.
And olive oil. There's different olive oils too. Olive oils, I use it every day. It's fantastic.
Yes.
It adds a little bit of flavor. So I tried to quit eating a lot of sugars, and a lot of stuff's got sugar in it. If you don't realize it, if you just read it in the food business, because it's enhanced its flavor and it composites how to blend the product. So now like salads, I don't even use salad dressing. I'll try, if someone's a chef's got salad dressing, I'll try it, or I'll eat a blue cheese or something like that. But for the most part, I don't anymore. And I use some vinegar. I use vinegar and oil. I'll use hot sauce, you know, that has no sugar, just, you know, fresh hot sauce.
Oh yeah.
You have to find ways to, when you're trying to change your diet, it's hard to find ways. But once you do, you realize what you've been missing, because a lot of the flavors that are prepackaged stuff are masked with so many ingredients, you don't really taste the food.
Right.
You taste the actual flavor of the food.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And so, you know, those vinegars, I love everything from balsamic to apple cider vinegar to, I mean, there's all the different ones, and they give you so many different options. Again, that blank canvas when you're cooking, that you can come up with whatever you want to come up with if you're creative enough. And
what'd you replace butter with?
Well, okay, so they said that I could, like some geese are because they remove the solid. So some of those people don't have, I haven't even tried it. I really haven't tried it. I just completely cut butter out. I really haven't had, I mean, oils.
Right.
It's usually, I mean, you replace it with like an extra virgin olive oil is what I've done. So I'm still learning about that world too, because there's so many different types of oil now.
Lots.
You know, used to when we were kids, it was just vegetable and canola.
Oh yeah. You go in the store. Oh my God, there's a whole aisle of different oils and stuff, top to bottom, and that's not even half of them. I'm saying a quarter of them. It's crazy. And plus, where you live, you have to go. There's the nearest biggest store like that would be like in Austin for you, right?
Yeah, we do have to drive somewhat to go
to get the cool stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know if I'm saying that right, because where you live is really neat, but
right
to have everything available to you. How about that?
Yes, no doubt about it. And you know, when I have to run into Austin for something, I'll make it to where I got coolers with me, and I'm going to make a trip to one of those you know, specialty stores, or whether it be a you know, a Harvest. Harvest type store or something like that, or just stop by the farmers markets there around Austin. So, gosh, there's just so much great food out there. I don't think that even with limitations on what you can put in your body, that you should look at it as it's an end all be all. It's a brand new canvas. It's a brand new day, and we just gotta change it up a little bit. Like I said, I've already lost 20 pounds. I want to lose 20 more. And the energy that I have, I've gotten more done around on our place in the last a couple of months than I have in a long time.
Boys like living out there.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
You know, I used to when I was sick. I used to think like, am I getting lazy?
Yeah.
You know, am I
something wrong? Yeah, you've been metabolism or whatever. You thought you're slowing down. Yeah.
Is this what 40s feel like?
Yeah.
Is this what I'm gonna feel like the rest of my life? You know, and so. When you keep being told by doctors you're okay, you kind of have to take that mentality.
Well, it's amazing. It's amazing that you kept the tenacity up though, and said, and because a lot of people just said, "Oh, I've been to 3 whatever," but it's amazing that you finally figured out what it was.
It is.
And you would think that they'd figure that out, but I guess in today's world, there's so much going on. People just like in out. I guess. I mean,
so my gut doctor, I call her that's what she calls herself, the gut doctor. She's an internal medicine doctor. She left the practice. She has her own practice now because they weren't getting to the bottom of people's issues. They were simply writing scripts. They were giving people, which is what has happened to me. It happens to gazillions of us every day. But the approach that she's taking with me is identify, eliminate, heal. And so right now what we're doing, everything that we're doing is all natural and healing my gut and making me whole again. And I like these approaches. These are approaches that are different, but they're not putting you on antibiotics.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It's a big thing now, just writing people drugs and not trying to stop you. But that's the thing that the Congress is working on now, and that's going on right now, and up on the hills, that they're trying to figure out a way to slow down prescription drugs.
Right.
Because it's bad. It's not only is it bad for the person, it's bad for people around them.
Yeah.
You know, bad for your family life.
Yes. Very much so. And if I can completely be on things that are great for my body, if I can be on great prebiotics, probiotics, you know, I used to think that I don't need to take that, you know, pill. I don't need it, you know, but they've got a lot of really great products out there these days that definitely give you a leg up and give you an advantage. And so it's just such a great time to be back and feeling good again and being able to sing again. Yep. And
you're working on a new album, right?
I am.
Let's talk about that a minute.
All right.
Well, Brian, let's talk about your album, how don't we? So you're working on a new album.
Yes. This will be my 10th album that I've done since 2001. The fans have asked for a long time for an acoustic record. Yep. We started that in February. We recorded what is it going to be a portion of the show. We're going to do another show in September and tie the two together. But a lot of the hits for us that have been through the last several years, obviously from about 2006 on.
What's been your biggest hit since there?
There's no doubt, not any doubt. It's a song called Backroads.
Okay, I love that song.
Yeah. Well, that song is the one that, you know, we came out with Freeze Frame Time before we came out with Backroads. And Freeze Frame Time was about my son. And I wrote that before he was born. He's 13 now.
Oh, wow. That'll tell you how long time goes.
So, you know, Backroads, I wasn't even really sure if I should put it on that record, Conviction. I remember having this conversation. We were recording it in Nashville. Walt Wilkins was producing the record, and I told Walt, I said, I'm not really sure I should put this on Backroads on there because I'm not sure people are going to understand what I'm talking about.
Right.
Riding Backroads. Right. He said, son, you're putting that song on that record. I said, yes, sir. And when we released it, I mean, we started getting letters, emails from all over the world, Australia, Canada. I mean, you name it. Yeah. We were involved in some conflicts in the Middle East at that time. Our soldiers, our military.
That had to make you feel good.
Oh my gosh, man!
But music. I say this: music and food help heal the soul.
Absolutely,
I truly believe that. I believe a good meal with great music and a little bit of wine. If you can drink wine, I just think it's just
Well, a lot of people over the years, especially the last few years, have asked me when I'm going to open a restaurant.
Oh God!
And I've said, hey, I'm not, because music was that hobby, for a long time, and it was a passion, and I love my job. We'll get back to the record here in a second, but at the same time, it has become a business.
Sure.
Whereas cooking is still completely mine.
Hobby.
It's a hobby of sorts, and I really enjoy it, and my family really enjoys it. So that makes it all win-win. But
as soon as you sign that lease for a restaurant, guess what it becomes? A business. A job. So even though I made you do, let's get back to the record. I swirl around. You know how I am.
No, that's all good. All right. So this new record, we're going in Monday to record the first single that is going to be from this forthcoming record. I wrote this song. It's called I Felt Good Today. And it's not about me physically feeling good. It's about my father-in-law. We lost him in January to cancer, and it's been a pretty tough time. And I spent a lot of time with that man over the years, hunting and fishing, and getting him to tell me stories. And
stories are the best.
After he passed, I was just about around that time finding my doctors, and I was starting to feel better there too. But I had done a show in Galveston the night before, and I was traveling back to Central Texas to our home, and this song, we talked about it at the beginning. This song came to me as I was driving down the road, and I literally got my phone and opened up my recorder, and I started singing it into the recorder, and wrote it in a very short amount of time. Got home, grabbed my guitar, told my wife to give me 5 minutes. I went and I had the chords all figured out, and I went in and I played this song for her, and we all lost it. So it's about him. It's about realizing that even though they may be gone, that they're always here with us, and
not forgotten,
and there will come a time when you won't ever get over it, but you'll feel better
about it. Yeah, you don't forget it. You never get over it.
So I think it's a really, really powerful song, and we've done so much pre-production on this going in. We know what we're doing. I'm very prepared. It's going to be huge. It's going to be big. It's going to have a complete string ensemble that's going to be in it, and I'm excited about it. It's going to be really, really exciting to be a part of my 10th record.
Yeah, tell you excited about it.
Yeah.
So what else is going to be on there?
I think going back to the live acoustic part, the fans still request a lot of those earlier songs, and so even in our sets, in our full band sets, I've started putting songs from the earlier records all the way up through our most recent record. So it's kind of all over the place, but definitely the songs that have been the hits over the years, and we've had our fair share. I always look back and I say, I've been working a long time not to be that popular, and it seems to be working out just fine.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's funny.
I make a living doing what most people would only dream of.
Yeah, but they also think it's easy.
Right, and it's not.
No, it's not. It's not
especially
easy.
As we get older.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
But I'm going to tell you something. If someone would have asked me 4 months ago, if they would have asked me if I wanted to be singing and playing music,
you always been different. It'd been a different answer.
I would have said no.
I would have said no.
I would have said no.
I couldn't do it. Yeah.
But now that I'm better and I'm back on track and my voice is there again, absolutely. You know, I don't ever want to put the guitar down.
Hey, wait, listen, I just thought this because I saw you sitting about a microphone situation a while ago.
Yeah.
Tell the quick story about when you were sound checking about the mic. Merle Haggard, was it Merle Haggard? Tell everybody what happened.
Well, okay, so like every guy, you know, I have my own microphone. I don't like people lipping on my microphone or spitting on it or whatever. So, you know, every show that we do, I carry mics, and we do. And we were opening the show for the great Merle Haggard, and they had got through sound checking, and it was our turn, and we went up there, and this was back in the early days. I was still young and green and didn't know everything I probably should have, but I went up to speak on Merle's microphone, like, is this the one I'm supposed to use? And it was just like, no.
I just think that's so funny because we had just talked about how nasty it is, you know, when you're looking at somebody's microphone, you know, because if you watch people, they spit on those things and they smoke and it's
yeah, it's fun.
All right, so back to the record. So it's going to be, you know, I made you the flop of place. So there's going to be 10. How many songs are going to be in there? You tell me 10?
No, there'll be more than 10. The reality is, in today's climate and what we do as musicians, it's if you go out there and you make a 10 or 15 track record,
right,
you know, people don't buy records anymore.
No, they don't.
They don't buy CDs.
Nope,
I mean, it's a lost format. My kids don't even know what they are.
Yep.
So everything is the streaming. So you have to embrace that, and that's something that we've definitely done, and definitely realized that there are advantages to embracing that. So in this format where it's a live recording, I can pretty much do anything I want to.
That's
you
awesome.
know, I can put 20 songs on it if I want to,
right,
because when we release it, it's all going to be digitally.
right.
So, you know, you don't think about making the physical products as much anymore unless you're going to do vinyl. And
I was just fixing to say, vinyl, you know, I've had Whiskey Myers, some other groups, they've given me new vinyls, and they're really cool. I mean, when I was a kid, that's what I used to listen to.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool to have it. I mean, it's neat.
It is, and I think that it's definitely something that we're going to do. When we release this new record, I plan to go back and grab Conviction and have it done as well
awesome.
In vinyl. You know, think about, I mean, these records, man. Yeah,
I need one.
Make sure to get you some. We've done 2 live records. We've done 7 studio records. This will be my 3rd live record. You know, Conviction. That's just me. The Live at Billy Bob's record, which we were talking about.
Right, we were.
How much great content we got out of that, video-wise as well.
I'm shocked at how popular those live. I mean, it's just unfathomably how well they do with the Live Billy Bob's. It's just they do so well with those.
Well, I mean,
they're produced well too, of course.
It's kind of like being a you're one of the few.
That's
I mean,
right.
really, you got to look at it that way. You know, there's not everybody gets the opportunity to record a record like Live at Billy Bob's, the world's largest indoor honky tonk, and it definitely was something that was on our radar, and super duper pleased that we had that opportunity to do that. But, you know, in my career, to sum it all up, what I've done, once I was told, be careful what you write, be careful what you record, because you just might have to sing it the rest of your life. And it's true, and I've always approached it that way, and I know I don't have any regrets with anything that I've ever written, recorded, that's out there. I love to sing it. I love the fact that I get to sing Freeze Frame Time every night. I love the fact that when my kids are in the crowd, they get to sing it with me on stage now.
That's awesome.
It's the best.
Okay, two things I want to ask you. First thing, what's the best thing you've ever eaten in your life? What did you love? The best thing you've eaten with a chef or restaurant, or you made anything?
Yeah, it was a dry aged steak.
Oh yeah.
And it had been aged 40 days.
Oh yeah, baby.
And it was a ribeye, and we paired it with the best bottle of Opus One.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
sign me up.
And it had some homemade mac and cheese.
Oh yeah.
And then we had some Brussels sprouts.
You were killing yourself at that time with mac and cheese.
Brussels sprouts, which is something else that I just love.
I do too.
I mean, there's so many different ways you cook them, and like eggs too. That's another thing. Like eggs, were completely fine on my diet, right?
Right.
So eggs. Think about all the ways we can cook farm fresh eggs. Oh man, that's another thing. That's another whole hour.
Another thing, best place you've ever, your most favorite place to play. Not the biggest. It doesn't have to be the biggest. It's the most favorite place to play.
I always say the ones that pay.
Are you a capitalist?
I'm a capitalist. Yes, I am.
That's funny.
It's so true because every venue has its own unique, deal about it. It's like a record. It's like, what's your favorite record? Well, I hate to say there's a favorite record, because they all are part of me.
Right.
But venues are a lot the same way. Obviously we said something about a Billy Bob's,
Right.
but if you start looking at all the dance halls across Texas, I think those are the hidden gems.
Yes, I do. I agree with you.
They
I agree
really
with you.
are. And there's so much history in those walls and those floors, and you can't help but feel it from your toes to your...
You can't replace it. You can't make it happen somewhere else. You're just going to happen where it is.
That's right.
Yeah. So if they want to get a hold of you or get your music, let's just do that real quick.
BrandonRyder.com is the easiest thing. Go to our website. From there, you can navigate to any of our social media sites. And I'm very active on all of our media platforms, social media platforms. Sometimes I'll dodge out for a week or so, but I come back. But you can get all of our music. You can go to anything, YouTube, all that stuff.
Good.
Man.
If you're trying to get a hold of us, it's easy. It's Trey'sChowdown.com. That's Trey with an E, not an A, because I tell everybody when I was born that all the great names, all the great Treys were with an E, not A.
It's been fun.
Thank you, Brian. It's been fun with me. Tune in next week again on Friday at 10 a.m. We'll see y'all then. Thank you.